Okay, in the last lesson we continued blocking, and now we are still continuing to block out the face. There's a lot of blocking to do. Although at this point we're not really blocking anymore, we're actually cutting in edge loops, and we're starting to get something that resembles a face. There's a chin, trying to work on, and trying to keep everything kind of clean, smooth. And we have the makings of an orbital eye socket right there, and kind of what will become a nose later on. Right now we're just kind of trying to add more geometry to you know, the cheeks and that whole area around. So this is like the bridge of the nose. We're only going to get so far with the nose coming to a point in the middle. We need to add more geometry, and you'll see in a second here. So we're selecting that edge loop and moving it up to make a bridge for the nose. I like this method of modeling because we could already see our face starting to come together before we even, you know, have done too much work. We can already see what it's gonna kind of be like. Okay, so there was a big polygon right there that we just had to cut because we're gonna need more detail in that area. Okay, and just keep moving those things so that everything is running smoothly. Again, you can use the eyebrow. Now that eyebrow is a little high, I realize that. This is kind of a comic booky looking character, so it's a little bit exaggerated. Later on we're going to end up bringing the eyebrow down. So if you have a good knowledge of anatomy and you want to not quite follow along with this face, feel free, you know, obviously, to use your own judgment. Now we can see the edges right there in the center of the nose. They kind of have this Klingon-y effect, like they're just poking down in the middle. We don't really want that. We want everything rounded. Just like that. Okay. There's really not it's not super necessary to mess with the nose that much right now because it's all going to get fleshed out later. And we could see here in the project I'm working on, the images don't actually line up very well from front to side. I ended up correcting that, so yours should. But I end up keep moving this thing down, and then I go into the front view and see that it's too low, and then I gotta fix it again. So I'm just kind of like battling with myself. This is one really good incentive to see that it's too low now, and I'm wondering what the hell is going on because I measured these things out. And don't worry, your image plane should be fine. But yeah, sometimes you'll get an image plane from the internet, some actress's face, a front and a side shot. They're not going to match up totally, and you're going to be stuck with a lot of problems like that. I've had to do that before. It's almost impossible to get a front orthographic photo of someone. You'd have to use a really long range, maybe a 200mm camera or something like that. And even then there would be some little amount of distortion. That's why drawing kind of helps in this case. There we go. So we got a pull. We got 5 edges coming together right under right where that cheek is. You can't make a face without pulls. It's pretty much impossible. It's just a matter of where you're going to put them. Put them in a place where there's not going to be a lot of deformation. Hopefully the cheek, the edge of the cheek isn't going to deform that much. So we can get away with it. And see how I'm looking at the face from the bottom right now? One of the big mistakes is if you only look at the front and the side and look at it from face level, not going above and below, your face can end up looking really tweaked out, pointy. If you look at the way the lips looked when I looked at them from the bottom view, you saw how they were really pointy. You can match them up from the front, match them up from the side, but all the verts in between need to be following a rounded path. So, okay, so here I'm kind of connecting the jaw. Later on, we're going to make a neck come out of that. So hold down V and snap to that vert and merge verts. Now notice how there's all these edges that kind of stop. They don't go all the way around the head. They just kind of stop on a big, crazy polygon near the ear. That's okay. I'd rather have the back of the model be a little bit less messy for now and just resolve those issues later. As long as they're in an area that's not that important, like the ear. You see, because if you make an edge loop like we did right there, you have to deal with not just the front, but then now the back of it too. So if you want to spend less time modeling the back of someone's head, which is going to get covered in hair anyway, then just work on some more detail in the front and leave the back for later. You can just fix it up later. No big deal. Okay. The next lesson we'll be going into detail on how to create the eye with a sphere and making a realistic eye out of that.